Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless. I am your host, Tammy Simmons, and in this podcast, we will be talking about a situation I had where I had to fight for my daughter for custody, and I didn't really know that I was going to have to fight for her, so let's get into it. So anyway, my daughter, as I stated, is nonverbal and autistic. So at the end of the day, as she's going to school, her father lives down south. I live up north. And, certain times I've been asked, like, is there a custody or is there paperwork for custody or anything like that? Like, no, there's not, you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, I just, when the breakup happened, I got my daughter. He got his freedom. I don't know. But either way, that's what happened. So, there was really no agreement or nothing. Like, she's my daughter and that's it. Or, you know what I mean? So anyway, so with that being said, I've also heard horror stories of people saying how the father has come up and taken the child and there was nothing that they could do or whatever. So basically to safeguard myself, and I also had the paperwork needed or if ever needed for school, I went and did the whole custody thing. And so I filled out the paperwork, and because I wasn't doing anything maliciously, I got in contact with him like, hey, just so you know, you're going to get paperwork stating that about custody. And at this time, like, I've already spoken to my daughters because she had a court-appointed lawyer. So I already spoke to him, and he said all he has to do is sign the paper. We probably wouldn't even have to go to the trial. This is cut and dry, blah, blah, blah. And it will be, if he signs the paperwork, it's just joint custody, and you guys will be all set. Because I don't really see it, prolonging into a trial or anything like that. I was like, cool, great. So I tell him the same thing, like, hey, you're going to get paperwork or whatever, but just sign the papers, and it's joint custody, blah, blah, blah. Should have been cut and dry. Should have been cut and dry. But we actually had a court date, and I wasn't thinking anything about it. And I'm thinking that this is just protocol because I'd never been through this before. So we gets there, and he never signed the papers. He stated that he didn't know where to sign. That's neither here nor there. That is just what was said, whatever. So I'm like, oh my God. And so they're asking, do I want a lawyer? And I'm like, no, I don't want a lawyer because to me, this should be cut and dry. I'm thinking, I thought he signed the papers. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, no, I don't want a lawyer. It's not that deep. It wasn't to me. Well, when they asked him, he says he wants a lawyer. And I'm like, well, what? You know what I mean? Like, how did we get here? You know what I mean? So then I'm like, okay, I'll take a lawyer too. So basically I got a court-appointed lawyer. He got one too. And so I was devastated once I left the room. And I was like, my daughter's lawyer comforted me. He was like, I told you, you know what I mean? Like, because he did say something to me that I probably should get a lawyer. But to me, I was thinking should be cut and dry. It's not that big of a deal, not that type of situation. So anyway, once we left, I filled out the paperwork. I already got my lawyer, court reporter, whatever. And I think I spoke to him like a few days before our court date and all this other stuff. Because I'm like, dude, like, this is whatever. So we get there for the next court date. And now this time, I think this is like in February. And I think when we went to court, it's like November or something. It was 1 year, and then we had to go the next year. You know how that works out. And so anyway, we go to court. He doesn't have a lawyer. He waited till the last minute to call for a lawyer. And so a lawyer wasn't there in time. All right, whatever. So then we end up going. The actual date, this was like sometime in March or April. I think it was in March. But anyway, we go And longest story short, I get sole custody. I wasn't even expecting to get sole custody because of, like I spoke to you guys and told you what the lawyer said. It was like basically it was cut and dry. It wasn't like he was any, like Vea, our daughter, was in any danger or anything. So I didn't think I was going to get sole custody. But what happened was when his lawyer got up, he automatically said, oh, he doesn't care about her having sole custody. He just doesn't want his rights taken away. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? So either way, and with my daughter going to school all year round, she doesn't have to go down south. He has to come up here because, like I said, she goes to school all year round. So anyway, but the encouragement that I want to give to you guys, to anyone, is you have to protect yourself. And I hate to say that because I know at some point we all loved our exes at some point, and you wouldn't think that people would do that to you or would drag things out, but you don't know how people really feel about you until it happens. You don't know if people's pride will get into it or somebody's in somebody's ear or whatever. You don't know. And the thing about it is you have to do what's best for you and the child if you have a child. So at the end of the day, make sure that you are prepared for anything after a breakup because you don't know. But the thing is, you have to safeguard your children. Make sure that you have the proper stuff in place. Even if you and your ex or whatever, or ex-spouse or whatever, you may not have to go through the courts, but make sure it's somewhere in writing or there's an understanding, because you never know if things will change. And what you don't want to do is have your child in limbo or in a place that they don't want to be, or you putting yourself in a messed up situation because you're just believing that this person would never do something to you. So I hope that will give you guys some encouragement or something. And just safeguard yourself. Make sure that you're doing what's best for you and your child or all parties involved or whatever. Because like I said, as you just heard in my story, you never know. So as always, I love you guys. I pray that you have a wonderful remaining of your week or weekend, depending on when you're listening to this. And until next time, love you guys.